Hello everybody, this is a quick video discussing some aspects of the change proposal. I've gone through this in class with my other two sections, and since you are online, I want to make sure that you don't miss out on any of these things. So essentially, with the change proposal, we want people to not be too anxious about that. With the change proposal paper, we are taking you step by step through the process. And the idea is that by the end of the semester, it will be pretty much done. It will just sort of take some tidying up to make the final paper. But my anticipation is that it would be 70 to 80% done at least a couple weeks before the end of the semester. And then the rest of it's just kind of tidying it up. In terms of the change proposal, remember that the paper is an individual paper. And our groups that we're going to be working in are just groups of the small g in the sense of sharing some resources and doing some things with the team, with your group, but your work is not dependent on the group. I'll talk later about how the groups should work. So basically, I hope that your individual change proposal paper will be something that represents something you're passionate about and that you're interested in. And your individual change proposal paper is yours and is your interest. And then we've tried to link you up with people who have a shared general interest, but maybe don't have the same exact interest, and that's okay. We want to pair up people with the same general interest so that you can share some resources with them. So you should not feel obliged to change your topic or do something that's exactly like other people in the group. You have your own freedom within that group. And so, again, I don't want you to be anxious about doing it. The 10 pages, you might think at the moment seems like a lot. My guess is that you're going to probably end up with more stuff than you need for 10 pages in terms of things that you know and things you're interested in. And just to recall, you can look at the syllabus and listen to the syllabus and other videos that are online, but basically remember that the change proposal and the other papers too, so Food Bank People and Peer Mentors, this is also true to a different extent. But basically the gist of the change proposal is that you are taking theory, concepts, and research from class, and also things that you read in your library research. You're going to take those things and you're going to apply it to real life. And for the change proposal, the application to real life is trying to help people with certain types of problems. So the change proposal is, how do we set up a program that will benefit people who have issues that you're looking into. And so I hope that you are passionate about that. I hope that you'll enjoy integrating the academic stuff, the concepts, the theory, and research with tackling a real life problem. And so that's the key to the change proposal paper, is linking these. And essentially you're going to be making an argument for processes of change based on your library research. So I think that you're actually going to have a lot of ideas there. So my guess is that you're going to actually have to think a little bit about what things you want to focus in on at the end of the paper. So again, I think that the 10 pages, I think the 10 pages are not complicated in terms of trying to fill those out. I think it's going to be a matter of selecting your best arguments. And again, I want you to choose something that you're really passionate about, so your interest in the topic will sort of motivate you. And we will talk about the change proposal as we go through the semester. So again, we've set it up so you're taking small little steps towards the final paper. So by the time we get towards the end of the semester, you'll have a lot of the work done already. So one of my pieces of advice is to sort of do every step that we're sort of telling you, and that will lead to your paper. So the study review paper was your first sort of try to sort of narrow your topic. That will help your library search for that case. And in the study review paper, you find that you read something and it stimulated ideas. So I would say a large majority of you in your study review paper, you had mentioned something about your change proposal. So that was your first step, your first baby step towards the change proposal paper. And now with the annotated bibliography, you're going to be reading, you yourself are going to be reading 5 articles that you possibly could use for your paper. And then if you're in a team, you will get 5 articles from each of your team members with an annotation, and that will make it really easy for you to find other articles that you might want to use. And so this annotated bibliography is a way to start getting a broader sense of the literature out there, the research out there, and that's going to be sort of the conceptual basis of your paper. And so that's going to be the underpinnings of your program. So if you're doing something related to your change proposal, it should be something that's related to the program that you want to suggest in your change proposal. So that's really setting the base of your paper. So these are just 2 examples of how we're taking you step by step. In a week or 2, you're going to be doing an outline of your change proposal. That outline will actually make more explicit the things you learned from the research that you read and how that's going to extend into proposing a program for change to help people with those issues. So these little steps are actually starting to flesh out your paper as we go through week by week. I think that's it for the change proposal paper. If you have any questions about that, let me or Kate or Christian, the TAs, know, and we'll talk with you. If you're not doing a change proposal, which are the food bank people and the peer mentors, which is only a very small percentage of the people in class, if you're doing that, I sent an email out. It was dated around the 14th of this month, so September 14th. And I sent you an email explaining what sort of paper you're going to be writing. It's going to be different from the change proposal because you're doing a lot more volunteer activity. So that volunteer activity essentially will replace the library research that the change proposal people are doing. And so again, look for that email, but essentially what you'll be doing is you're going to be reflecting on your service learning experience, especially in terms of linking it to concepts or ideas that were presented in class. And you will have to do some sort of library research too, but more limited in terms of things like the concept paper and the study review paper. So do check that email. That email also has details of your signature assignment. The details are a little bit different from the change proposal. So do check for that email. Again, ask me or the TAs if you have any questions. And then finally, I want to talk about how the group should work. And so, as I mentioned earlier, the groups in this class are really with a small g. My idea is to use the groups to your benefit. So have all those beneficial things from the groups without the group sort of weighing you down. So we all know that there's sometimes problems with working in groups. And so I don't want problems such as communication and coordination with other members, or if there's a slacker in your group, that's not going to happen, because in the end it's going to be an individual paper, and you need to go forward. And so basically with the groups, we want you to do things like share resources. So for example, the annotated bibliography that you're working on, that's an opportunity to share resources with each other. So you're doing 5, but if you have 2 other people in your group, you're going to get 10 more references with annotations that will help you find stuff that you might use for your paper. So this is an example that we want the groups to sort of help each other out and benefit without a lot of problems. So you don't have to wait for somebody to start your work or do your work. And then what we'll do, we, as in I and the TAs, Christian and Kate, we will give you guideposts, essentially what you should be doing with your groups. And so the guidepost for the annotated bibliography was essentially, here's your group. So Christian emailed you with your group membership. You were supposed to contact people in your groups. So sort of just basically say hi and get to know each other a little bit. And then you were supposed to coordinate your activities in terms of the annotated bibliography, in terms of not having overlapping articles. So that was basically what we wanted you to do. We wanted you just to get a little bit started with your groups and do those things. So as we go on, every 2 weeks or so, we're going to give you new guideposts about what you should be doing with your group. So one thing that you may be doing with your group is reviewing your outlines. And so we're going to be using the groups for peer feedback, for example. If you're not in a group, we will match you with other people who aren't in groups to get feedback from other people. But definitely at the early stages, we want you to get feedback from somebody who shares a topic, a general topic with you, if it's possible. If you're not in a group, it's because you have a more unique, idiosyncratic topic, and it didn't really fit well with other people's topics. And so you'll be doing things like that. You'll be sharing your drafts and getting feedbacks from people in your group. So essentially what I'm trying to emphasize here, again, groups with a small g. So do some of those beneficial things. We're going to have you do beneficial things with working in groups, and I know some of you might go beyond it. So, but the bare minimum, we want you to share resources and maybe review drafts. But I do know that there are some groups that have really great members and have a lot of initiative, and they're actually doing more things, which is fine, which is fantastic. We're just not requiring a lot of coordination within your group because we know that sometimes groups don't work very well. So that's the main philosophy of the groups. And again, just like with the change proposal paper, we're going to give you step-by-step things to do and guideposts that you should be paying attention to in terms of your group work. And I think that's basically it for now. So if you have any questions about the change proposal or your groups, please let I or the TAs know. And if there's any issues in your groups, please let us know also. Again, your paper is going to be individual. You will be doing a PowerPoint presentation with your group, but probably by that time, for sure you're going to have a good idea about your own paper, and it's just a matter of sort of sharing some general ideas, overarching ideas with people in your group. It will be relatively quick. And also by that time, which I was going to talk about just now, but I wanted to say that first, also by that time you probably have a pretty good sense of who's not contributing or who won't contribute. So if we have that isolated before the end of the semester, we can actually tell those people who aren't working well with a group that they're on their own. And so you will get a group grade for the presentation, but that will be with people who have been active and who share ideas together. And if somebody has been identified by you and by us as not contributing, they will be doing their own presentation and they'll get their own grade. So we really want to prevent freeloading in this class. And I think that's it for now. So again, if you have any questions, let I or the TAs know. Or if you're having issues in your group, if you're having trouble contacting people or they're not being very cooperative, let us know early. We would like you to try to intervene and tell them to sort of get their act together, but if that doesn't work, please let us know. And then if we find that this person is basically stubborn and they won't change their ways, they will be told that they will work on their own from now on. I don't want you to have the hassles of dealing with that type of stuff. So that's it, and I will talk to you in the next lecture in class. Online, of course.